for us to put our hands together, government, private sector, individuals, and see how we can salvage the environment from waste.
Okay, which is the essence of this program. Igbabee, how worried are you over the challenge of waste management in our urban centers specifically?
Thank you for having me, and thank you for that wonderful question. I must say I am deeply worried because understanding the effect of this waste to human health, and you could see that this waste is generated by human activities. And this goes on and on. Every day we generate this waste, and without a proper waste management system put in place to control the effect that this poses to human health. So as a matter of fact, I am worried, deeply worried.
Okay, Dr. Ande, in a broad sense, when we talk about waste management, people will understand it generally as the environmental issues, but could you narrow what are those aspects that could be focused on as issues that bedevils our ecosystem related to waste in general?
Yeah. Waste management has to do with a number of activities. It has to do with trying to see how the waste generated is handled or disposed in such a way that it will not constitute a problem to the environment. And poor waste management could lead to a number of issues ranging from health to environmental problems. Any environment that is so polluted, that is full of waste, that is not managed properly, could lead to rise of diseases, even aesthetically. It's not usually a thing to, look at. It is a huge problem that we must contend and see how it is done properly.
Okay, Igbabee.
Yes.
In terms of waste, one of the largest component of waste that has become so disturbing to people is plastic waste, given the danger it is said that it poses to our environment. Why is it considered as a danger that it poses to the environment? Because research indicates that it takes up to 20 to 500 years. This is according to United nations that plastic waste takes up to 20 to 500 years to decompose into microplastics. It never totally degrades. That same research indicates that 8.3 billion tons of plastic had been produced in the last 13 years, out of which 8.3, only 12% has been incinerated, that's been burnt, and 9.0% recycled, and the rest deposited in landfills and waters. Speak to us about how plastic waste can be properly managed.
All right, thank you once again. Just like you said, you know that the plastic is a non-biodegradable substance. Because of that, it's a big challenge to the ecosystem and the environment. Now, why it has to be managed? If we are looking at waste, let me talk about waste management. Now, waste management to manage waste from its inception to its final disposal. And we know this could include collection, transport, treatment, and disposal of the waste. Now, in plastic, in Oracle business, plastic industry, where I am coming from, we do produce a whole lot of plastics, ranging from plastic chairs, PVC pipes, sachet water bags, shopping bags, woven sack, and a lot more. Now, having at the back of our mind the effect of this waste, now it will interest you to know that in all our lines of production, we have a recycling unit. We have a recycling unit. And the reason for this is for us to be able to recycle the waste generated as a result of our production activities. Now, the biggest of this all is the shopping bags or the leather. Now, if you look at, everywhere.
By shopping bags here, you are referring to the polythene.
The polythene bag.
All right.
Yes, the polythene bag.
What is commonly called leather.
Yes,
all right.
Exactly. What is commonly called leather. Now, if you look at leather or polythene bags are extensively used. You know, when you visit any shop to get anything, they put it in a leather for you. And when these things are used, what happened thereafter? They are being disposed and discarded. Now, so what we do in Oracle Plastics is we collect this waste, the discarded sachet water bags, or you call it pure water.
Yes.
So we collect these things, then we reprocess it into raw material, which we now use in turn to produce the same shopping bag or polythene on Fridays. You see women, you see young men, they come with this waste. Now there are some on dustbin picking this sachet water. And what they do is, after gathering it, they bring it to Oracle Plastic, where we buy. And I want to tell you that these people, they actually make a good fortune from that business. You see, they don't spend, but they make money. All they do is go out, they use their energy and all of that, gather these things, bring it to our place, and we pay we pay for it, and then we now use it to reprocess it into a usable product. So, on our part, we know we are doing a lot. Aside that sachet water bags, we also collect broken plastic chairs. Then these Viju milk containers or yogurt containers, we also collect them, which we process into raw material and we use for the production of most of our product.
Okay, based on what you have pointed out, are there particular plastic related containers, or so to say, that you collect, or generally everything about plastics, including water bottles and any other thing you collect for reprocessing?
Right. We are particular.
Okay.
Yes. Now, in Oracle, mostly what we collect is this sachet water bags. Then we have we collect broken chairs. We collect Viju milk containers. We also collect waste sack. Yes, we also collect them, and then we recycle all of this to raw material, which we normally use. And why it is like that is because, you know, in plastics, there are different materials that we used for the production. Now the nylon, for instance, the nylon bags or polythene bags, now the material used there is polyethylene, and is, you know, the polyethylene is of two types. We have the high density and we have the low density. So we actually make use of both, because at any time we want to carry out production, we have to combine these two to give us a quality product. So we're actually selective. It's not all plastic waste that we collect or buy.
Okay, Dr. Ande, you have researched this area extensively. Speak to us on best approaches for recycling waste, especially plastic wastes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Like he said, recycling is considered to be the best method of waste management generally. And coming to plastics, like he has said, one way is to get them back to the production line and reproduce, you know, plastics instead of allowing them litter the environment. And another way that these plastics could be recycled into a useful product or a useful venture. I was driving somewhere around town and I see how someone cut jerrycans, plastic jerrycans that were bad, and he was able to get in soil and made some plantation, yams, planted yams in them. Instead of them littering the environment, he decided to collect them and then put them into good use. To me, it's a very typical way of recycling such a plastic material. When I came into this studio, I was discussing with my co-discussant that it is possible to incinerate. Why incinerating? The heat generated could also be used in generating electricity. It is an important, aspect of recycling. And the smoke that is produced is refined before being released into the environment. So these are some of the ways that we could recycle some of these plastics, as far as I know.
Okay,
Thank you.
Igbabee.
Yes.
To what extent are people aware of this waste to wealth project? The federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Environment, is championing a cause which is called waste to wealth in terms of recycling. You explained to us here some of the materials that you collect at the Oracle plastic industry for recycling. Are people aware of this waste to wealth policy or project that is being championed? How can they take advantage of it?
Yes, so let me see, a few number is aware. There was a time we ran a jungle on this waste collection. And we have done that on, I think, this Agate radio. And within that period, I think a good number of people turn up with waste. We actually started receiving calls. Some started bringing their broken chairs for us to buy, which we do till date. So we actually want to, from time to time, we go on radio, on air, on television, so that many will be aware. Because till now, some persons, still after taking this sachet water, they gather the empties and then burn them. And that is money you are wasting. Now, instead of burning that, and you know that when you burn these things, it actually pollutes the environment. Now, today, we have a climatic change as a result of these human activities. And one of them is when you burn anything, now it emits a certain gas called carbon dioxide, or CO2. I think Prof will understand that better. So this CO2, when it combines with the ozone, it actually depletes the ozone, and that is the reason why we are having a rising temperature, which has an adverse effect on our agriculture and then the human life. So we intend to intensify the awareness, and then I want to call on radio stations anytime they are discussing waste management. They should always remember to mention Oracle, because to an extent we collect a good portion of it, which we use as our raw material. So not only when we come on air, but whosoever that has any opportunity to speak on this waste management, he should always remember Oracle here in Benue State. And then there are still other ones which other individuals can delve into. Now, if you go around, you see used newspapers. You see most of these papers. Now, these things can actually be recycled and used to produce the same exercise books or even tissue papers. But we don't have any of that. So I'm going to call on individuals and government, for those that have the resources. I think it's something one can delve into. And the good aspect of it is this waste recycling, you make a very good profit out of it. It is quite lucrative. The business is quite lucrative, because the waste, cost you not that much. Doesn't cost much at all, but you in turn make a very good profit out of it. So it is something one can or could actually venture into. And I make bold to say you cannot lose when you have a recycling unit. You cannot lose at all, because the raw material is readily available and it is cheap.
Okay, Dr. Ande, as an academic and coming from the background of a university, is there anything that the university where you are coming from, I'm aware your own department and also the Center for Social Standards and Innovation, Social and Environmental Standards, SIPA is the one the university, Joseph Sarwuan Tarkaa University is pioneering. Is there any initiative with regards to waste recycling that your university and maybe other universities?
Say, I don't know of any recycling unit, and I may not be able to speak so much about other universities, but I'd like to say that because you have mentioned CIPES, we call it CIPES, Center for Innovation in Procurement, Environmental and Social Standards.
Yes.
I want to say that with the coming of that center, a lot has been done. I'm not here to represent the center.
Yes,
but
just basically
I'm privileged.
We're basically looking at what the environmental component of it, what it is doing with regards to addressing the challenge of waste management.
That is where I'm heading to.
Yes.
Because I'm privileged to have participated in a number of interventions or trainings that the center has organized. It is for the whole of North Central. And I want to say that as a start, I think the center has done very well in terms of awareness, because awareness is key in waste management. Even the recycling that you're talking about, I'm very hopeful that maybe in the near future, the center or even the university may do something about that. But I want to say that the center has been very, very, instrumental in creating awareness in terms of waste management, in terms of recycling of waste. So I think to that is something that we should be happy about. In as much as there is no recycling unit, it doesn't mean that efforts are not being made. So efforts are being made, and I think with time we'll get there.
Okay, now I'll request you to speak to us about areas of investment in that area that you think private persons can key into with regards to waste recycling, ranging from plastic and all the kinds of waste we have around us.
You mean for the center?
No. Private individuals in general, areas that you think private persons can invest in with regards to waste recycling to address the challenge it poses to the environment.
Yeah. I think one is to say that waste management is not just for government. It's not just for government. Like you said, the private sector could partner with government. Partnership is very important. And I feel that if private sector or even individuals partners with government and even universities, including the center that I talked about in our university, I think a whole lot will be achieved. My co-discussant said something which is very important here. Recycling does not just happen. Recycling begins with collection of waste. And if there is no efforts, if there are no machineries put in place to collect this waste, it becomes a problem because the waste won't be able to get to the recycling unit, for instance. And I want to say that private individuals or private bodies may decide to come together and see how they could establish collection centers, designated collection centers. Or they could even go to private houses or individual houses and get this waste collected and channeled appropriately, to the recycling unit. It takes a lot of funds because a recycling company or industry is capital intensive. That is why you don't find it so much around our area. But I feel that partnership is very important. And if that is done, it could also have a way of impacting positively on waste recycling.
All right, dear listener, if you are just tuning in, you are listening to Perspectives on Agate Radio, 95.5 Star FM, Makurdi. We are discussing the waste management challenges and the way forward for possible recycling. Leading the discussion here in the studio, I have with me the head of Department Chemistry at the Joseph Sarwuan Tarkaa University, Makurdi, and Associate Professor Dr. Sesugh Ande. I also have on the program the Production Manager, Oracle Plastics Industry in Makurdi, Mr. Benjamin Igbabee. You can participate on the program later at 10 o'clock by calling in on 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. In the meantime, the line for text messages and WhatsApp chats is already activated for you to send in your contribution to that line to participate on the program. 0912-699-9404. 0912-699-9404. We request that you kindly include your name and the location where you are sending your contribution through text from, so we'll take it as being read. Log on to our website on www.agateradiotv.com to listen to this program and every other Agate Radio content. You may also download the Agate Radio and TV app from Google Play Store to listen to us from any part of the world. Also, if you have your Radio Garden app on any device, you can listen to Agate Radio. All our social media platforms on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and X. The program is streaming live there, and we're available on all these platforms to serve you. Please follow the pages, drop your comments on the links. If they're related to the subject matter, we will take it as your contribution. Igbabee.
Yes.
Your industry, as you mentioned, currently is in the process of getting waste recycled. Beyond plastics, are there other areas of recycling you are looking at to salvage the challenge of waste management?
Yeah. Beyond plastic, like I earlier mentioned, one aspect that interests us much is the recycling of waste papers. Now we have a whole lot of schools here in Benue State and Makurdi in particular, and one could see that you have a whole lot of this waste. Now, but what happened to them? Most of them are burnt, or this roadside, these are Akara women. Some of them get these newspapers, and after packaging the Akara for the buyers, what happened next? These things are being sent to the environment. So it's one aspect we are thinking of, at least getting a line for that. Though there are challenges, when you want to set up such a plant, it is capital intensive. You need money. I think that is our major challenge for now. Getting money to start up this line of production is what we want to see how that can be achieved.
All right. Dr. Ande, another area of waste which is an emerging issue that is bedeviling the environment is the issue of e-waste, electronic waste. As someone who has researched this area, speak to us what e-waste entails and how people can also get to take advantage of your enlightenment for proper management of e-waste.
Thank you very much for that question. like you said, e-waste. E stands for electronic. But that was a kind of an old description.
Okay.
Today, we are concerned about what is termed as WEEE.
Okay.
That is waste of electronic equipment, waste of electronic waste of electrical and electronic equipment.
Okay.
Waste of electrical and electronic equipment. Yes, WEEE.
That's the WEEE.
Yes, triple E. Yeah. So simply, it is discarded electrical and electronic equipment. That is what e-waste means generally. And once an electronic equipment goes out of use, once it gets to its end of use, it has become a waste. That is why if you go around areas like Wadata, you may begin to see such waste, discarded. It's not so much here in our state, but on a general note, e-waste is one area that is affecting the environment. So I don't know whether I should go further or we'll stop at the definition at the moment.
Absolutely. It will be good for us to get to understand the dangers it poses to the environment and
Yes.
the components of it that could be categorized as e-waste. Could it be about our telephone chargers?
Thank you very much.
With cables and stuff like that. Just get to expand on it so we understand.
Thank you very much. You have a number of them. Let me say types, and this range from temperature exchange equipment such as refrigerators, freezers, heaters. It also includes screens and monitors of televisions, laptops, tablets, and large equipment such as washing machines, dryers, stoves, even large printing machines and solar panels. And we could also include small IT and telecommunication equipment, mobile phones, like you mentioned, GPS, even modems that we use in browsing or source of internet, routers, and so on. So these are the kinds of waste that we refer to as electrical and electronic equipment,
Yes.
which are e-waste. Now, I want to mention very quickly that globally, about 53.6 metric tons of e-waste were generated in the year 2019. And that gives us an average of about 7.3 kilograms per capita. That is the global outlook. And there is a projection that e-waste generation may go up to 74.7 metric tons by 2030. So if you look at the 53.6 metric tons, if you look at the percentage increase, is about 3.5% per year. And that's dangerous. It is something that we should be worried about. Now, very quickly, you mentioned about components. And I want to tell you here, and whoever that is listening to us, that this e-waste contain what we call potentially toxic elements, PTE, or PTE small s, potentially toxic elements. If you like, you can call them toxic substances. And this range from mercury is implicated in brain damage, the central nervous system. Mercury. Arsenic is another component that you find in e-waste. And arsenic is implicated in lung damage and central nervous system. There is another one called cadmium that is implicated in liver damage. You have lead. Lead has implication in kidney damage, central nervous system. And lead could also cause what is called hyperactivity. Chromium is another component that you find in e-waste, and it causes irritation of nose, eyes, throat, and so on. So these are some of the components that you find in e-waste, and they are toxic to human, to animals, aquatic habitat, and so on. So there is need for us to be worried about e-waste generation. Thank you.
Okay, and how can we properly manage it? Because as you are talking, in virtually every household, one or two of these components of electronic equipment are found. And when they malfunction or eventually get out of use, how can they be properly managed in terms of proper waste management we are talking about here?
You know, that is the problem. The problem of managing this waste. There are best management practices. Like I said, management of waste or management of e-waste itself begins with proper collection. Proper collection. Now, you need to get them collected. Elsewhere, you see them have what is called designated areas where households, members of households, get them collected. And in some climes, they go house to house and collect them. So when you don't have proper collection system in place, collection. And another way we can manage e-waste, because of the components that you have in e-waste, it could be recycled just like any other waste, like the plastics. Instead of, some of the metals that I have mentioned here, that you find them in e-waste, if you go into how they are processed from their ores, it takes a lot of energy and time. So, for the fact that an equipment or electrical equipment is no longer in use, there is possibility of recovering the metals that are in there to put them into a better use, instead of wasting energy to go and get them from the source. So you can make use of some of these metals that are in there in doing, other good, putting them into good product. And another way of managing this e-waste is to encourage, is to avoid having plenty of them. For instance, what I mean by that is this. As an individual, why will you go and get 5 phones to yourself? You are increasing, the level of e-waste. Because when the 4 phones are no longer in use, they become waste. So the first thing to do is to avoid or refuse to have more electronics. Refuse to have unnecessary equipment around you. It is very important, and so many other aspects that one can go into. Another important way of managing e-waste is what we refer to EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility. Electronics, they have a responsibility. Here is a take-back kind of arrangement where when the equipment become obsolete, what happens? The producer comes in, collects it, and take it back to the industry and possibly refurbish or remanufacture. So these are some of the ways that we can, manage e-waste in our environment. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for the insights. Dear listener, if you're just tuning in, the program is Perspectives on iGate Radio. We are discussing waste management challenges and the way forward. The line through which you can participate on the program is 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. Once you connect with the studio, we would like to know your name and where you are calling in from, and then we allow you to make your submission, which we request that should be brief. Send us an SMS or a chat on WhatsApp to 0912-699-9404. Log on to our website on www.igageradiotv.com to listen to the program as well. Good morning and welcome to Perspectives.
Good morning, sir.
Good to have you join us.
Thank you. This is Augustine Eke. Engineer Augustine Eke calling from Notebook.
All right. Please.
Okay, I just want to correct a few things.
Yes.
Like the CO2, how it becomes dangerous to the environment is that when excess of it is generated, it now creates a layer in the atmosphere. So that layer has an effect such a way that it allows solar radiation or sun to penetrate into the earth. But when the earth is trying to cool itself back to reflect some away, now this CO2 layer has a way of bending it back to return back to the earth again. So that is called a greenhouse effect. So it's because of this greenhouse effect that the CO2 is dangerous to the environment. Secondly, I will have advised that Sesugh, the management of Sesugh should be factored into this discussion. They are at a better position to give their own understanding on this issue. Okay. And then thirdly, the Vice Chancellor of UniAgric is from the Department of Environmental Studies. I wish to use this medium to advise that they should set up a waste recycling system, both for research and for revenue generation at UniAgric, that should factor in people in the Department of Environmental Studies, in fact, the General College of Engineering, and then College of Science. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, Augustine. Okay, we appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Thanks. All right, it's an ongoing conversation, so the issues about waste management are never ending. So Sesugh and all of that may be factored in.
Good morning, sir.
Morning to you.
This is Utswa Isaac from Goma, Iye.
Okay. Good to have you join us.
Thank you, sir. Counting the motion, I ascribe waste management as maintaining good disposal with a scavenger for recycling and sewage. In all ramifications, it involves clearing our refuse dumps and bins by burning the scrap incinerators after us. Hence, pollution is the release of harmful substances into the environment. Thank you, sir.
All right, Isaac, thank you very much. We appreciate you for calling in. Proper waste disposal, Isaac is encouraging. We hope we key into it, as he rightly pointed out. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you for joining us on Perspectives.
Yeah, this is Joseph Odumoke from Kutko Quarters, High Level Makurdi.
Okay, did you say Joseph Odumoke?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I want to ask the production manager from Oracle Business this question. We all know that the dustbins around are littered with all sorts of things, including feces and pads from women and all that. The plastic for sachet water bottles that are collected from these dustbins and are being recycled, how hygienic are these products at the end of the whole thing? That's my question.
Okay, thank you. Could that be all from you, Joseph? All right, thank you. We'll go along. I will allow you to respond to that concern. Obviously, we know that there may be treatment involved, but it will be good. It is coming from your lips, and we'll go along. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Oh, we lost connection with that caller. Okay, pointedly, Igbabee,
Yes.
I request you listen to Joseph Odmoke. So speak to his concern briefly before we take more calls.
All right. Thank you very much. I actually expected that question, but I want to point out here that the product produced from the waste collected from this dump bin or refuse dump is highly hygienic, because this passed through a process. Now, for the sachet water, for instance, for sachet water bags, now we have a washing machine or line that properly washed this material. And after that, we have a pelletizing machine, that convert the leather itself to pellet, which we now extrude into these polythene bags. Now, you will agree with me that, you see, the pelletizing machine, for the leather to change form, because what comes out is in molten state, and then you can see that it passes through a very high temperature, a temperature of about 190 degrees. Now, for the conversion, that from leather to the pellet. Now, when we get this pellet, that is now a raw material, which we now use in the production of the polythene bag itself. Now, in the production of the polythene bag, we have extruders, and this extruder too has a barrel, now with different temperature settings, ranging from 180 to 190. So you could see that it passes through that high temperature. Now, that will tell you there is no germ that can survive in that kind of temperature. So it goes through that process. Then you now have the fumes that actually comes out from the extruders, which we now cut into the required sizes, which we now pushed into the market. So the products from here, they are highly hygienic, because they go through different treatment processes. Like I earlier mentioned, I told you about the washing. We first start with the washing, then it goes through the pelletizing, which we use a very high temperature, and after that, for the extrusion too, it still goes through a very high temperature. So by that, you could see that anything germ is being taken care of, because there is no germ that can survive under a very high temperature.
All right, so Joseph, Dr. Ande, is there something you want to chip in briefly on the purification process for recycling, especially this kind of materials?
No, I think I agree with him totally, because I'm not very conversant with that technology, but I think another thing that they could consider, I don't know, maybe the use of of acid, kind of like it is done in water purification. If you look at water, chlorine is added, and that process of chlorination tries to get out or get rid of the microorganisms or germs at that level. So, but I think what he has said is quite reasonable.
All right. So, Joseph Odumoke, I'm sure you have listened to us and you understand that the processes involves not just taking them to direct use. It goes through proper recycling, treatment, and all of that before it gets to the end product. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Hello. Oh, it does appear there is a general glitch with the network, but okay. Dr. Ande,
Yes.
in terms of environmental pollution and the waste challenge we are grappling with, if you look around, the kind of plastic bottles ranging from plastic bottled waters, soft drinks, and all of these that litters into our gutters, and sometimes the challenge of flooding is blamed on some of these. How can this be adequately tackled in our urban centers in particular to strengthen proper waste management?
Thank you very much. I think one major problem that is promoting pollution that is arising from plastics is the continuous use of single-use plastics. Single-use plastics. I think, Lagos to some extent has taken a very bold step in that direction. I think one important thing is to ban the production of single-use plastics. It is very important. Industries should be encouraged to produce recyclable plastics that you can use them for different purposes, not just for a single use. If you go around, you see them. It is quite bad. Aesthetically, it's not good. So the first thing to do is to discourage the use of single-use plastics. That is number one. And number two, many people are unaware of the implication of waste. So awareness is very important. When you don't know, it becomes very difficult for you to take action. Like I mentioned the other time, you need to avoid, you need to refuse. I was in Jos for a training. Let me give this example. I like giving this example.
Yeah, teachers always teach with examples, so
yes.
it's not unusual.
Yes. I were in Jos for a training session. Training was anchored by CIPES, the center we mentioned a while ago in our discussion here. And we went out to get few things. I was with a professor, and he got a number of things for himself, and the store attendant offered him a number of polythene bags to carry the materials he bought from the shop. And he said no, I don't need them. And I asked him, Prof, why? He held them in his hands, and we walked back to the hotel. And he told me that he was preserving the environment. So, if you and I begin at our individual levels, I think that would also make that difference that we are looking for. So it actually begins with us. If we can take action, say no to certain things, and then we may get there, as little as it might be. You buy this plastic bag, you buy sweet, put in plastic bag, you buy chewing gum, put inside plastic. You see them littered everywhere. So I think people should be discouraged. Industry should be discouraged from producing single use, and government should take action.
All right.
It's very important. And
just a moment, I have someone holding on the line for us, so people holding for too long. I'll get back to you. Hello, good morning. Thank you very much for holding on.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome to Perspectives.
Thank you, sir. I am on that Gabriel from Ojakwa Madoka.
All right. Hi, so Jakwama this morning on that Gabriel.
Fine and fair.
Okay. What are the what are the waste management challenges in Ojakpama that you want to share with us?
Around our areas here, even as you are talking there,
yes.
And I'm seeing the environment, and my backyard is here. The waste is dumped by air there, by winds there. It's even very challenging. And like what our discussions have said, I want not everything that you can name for government to do for us. Since this Oracle company has something valuable for this waste materials, I want them to set an agent like this iron condemn do, so that they can go about to collecting this thing in our town. After collecting them, they make use of it for our betterment. And not only that, it makes our environment to be clean again. So that what I want them waste materials, and they can send the messages to even rural areas, not only in the town. No. If you go to the rural areas, they are more in number than what we can see in the town. That when they see these people, even our bosses here can collect for them, that it makes our environment to be clean. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Ondachi Gabriel, for calling in. We appreciate you. So it does appear the challenge is not only in the urban sector. I'm so sorry to have interrupted you, Dr. Ande. Please conclude your thoughts. You were landing on what the government can do as a part of its policy with regards to checking pollution, plastics.
Yeah, so like I was saying, is to ban the use of single-use plastics as a way of checking waste challenge, and awareness, like I said, is very important. And another thing is, you could find people when you drive around the town, Makurdi in particular. You see people dump waste on the roads. It's everywhere. There is no restriction. People should be fined for indiscriminate disposal of this waste. With that, we could also check. Another thing I find it challenging, let me say, in Makurdi here, if you go around, you hardly find waste disposal containers. I used to see a few of them at some point, but now they are no longer there. So sometimes people are forced to dump this waste indiscriminately. So I think that needs to be taken very seriously. I think the other person who mentioned Ben Sesugh here, I think his comments were just right. They need to be involved to see how these waste disposal containers are made available for people to do that. But to conclude, it has to do with you and me.
All
That
right.
is where it begins.
All right. Hello, good morning.
Hello,
Good morning.
this is Elder Moka
Okay, good to have
calling
you.
from high level. I greet you, Nat,
Warm,
and all the
greet-
guests in the studio.
warm greetings to you, Adam.
I'm not going to talk
Thank you.
very long.
Okay.
The issue is mankind generally is becoming a man of many words, never hardly talking. Walking the talk, plenty of talk and very little action. There are many young people all over the place now. I do. If you are sincerely able to pay, I remember even Oracle. There was a time I was discussing with somebody. He said he used to keep these things, but they stopped coming. So everybody. The issue of climate change is there. The professor was talking about it. Even when you burn these things, you are emitting carbon dioxide, you are destroying the ozone layer, the heat is increasing, the water levels are increasing. So generally, I'm quite worried. In fact, between high level and St. Teresa, where I'm sitting here now, if you see some of the trash now that the rains are falling, so much of it that you know that our mind, just by looking at that, it corrupts the mind. Anybody who continues to look at this, and the grass I was Pauline Maka. If you see that Pauline Maka where you have a very gigantic structure, they were talking about cancer screening. They have abandoned it. They put it has become a residential building. If you go grass inside, and all the residential areas around, mosquitoes will definitely be rising there and polluting the homes and causing malaria and so on. So the talking is plenty. I appreciate the talking also because it's part and parcel of what God allowed us to have, the capacity to say something when we see something.
Okay,
but
so
the walking of the talk is becoming very, very minimal.
Solution. Let's walk the talk now, beginning with you.
Yes, walk the talk.
Solution.
So many people idle. That's why some of them are talking about protesting. Because if you give them jobs, they won't even have time to think about protesting.
Let's evolve a solution. Just proffer one or two solutions that you think.
Simple. Give young people jobs. There are many people who are sitting on billions. They are refusing to give work to people. It's not just government.
Okay.
That's why MPLS said we should change the Naira note so that people will bring out the money and put it to use. But they are still doing it very discreetly, not sufficiently.
Young people should be given jobs that are concerning waste management. Is that what you are
Yes,
talking?
you go out to go and pick if you surely pay them properly. Yesterday I was watching TV in one African country. Those boys are making tiles with this burnt they burn the cellophane and they convert it into tiles that are looking better and stronger than the one that is made with cement. So paving some roads somewhere, and I was watching it on silver television one day. So that is it. The people are talking plenty, but at the end of the day, you see the big cars. Those cars are giving jobs to the people somewhere else. And refusing to give our children jobs.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Please, if you call in, stay on our subject matter, which is waste management. It's okay. But that's the beauty of it. In the end, I'm happy he was able to tie that. Yes. People should be encouraged giving jobs to even go out to pick up for trash.
The waste,
that's fine. That's fine. The line is still open. You can call in on 0814-335-9292, 0814-335-9292. Many people are trying, and if you're not able to connect to the studio line, send us a text to 0912-699-9404. Good morning and welcome to Perspectives.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Nathaniel. Good morning to your guests there.
Thank you for joining in.
A nice topic. Yes, I am Engineer Sunday Akbar, calling from Makurdi.
All right. Good to have you join us on Perspectives.
Thank you very much. Your guests have done justice to the topic. Yeah, I think a solution. One, government should establish waste recycling plants so that these things can be taken back to the industries to be other products. The plastics are non-biodegradable. They live there in the soil or anywhere to work for us. And secondly, I must point out that this polythene or anything nylon that you do, it is actually carcinogenic. It can cause cancer, especially when subjected to high temperature. Like when they use this cellophane bag to put more under hot temperature like that, it's not a very advisable state. Seriously, we must say that. So even water that are kept in the pure water or sachet water or bottled water that are kept in the sun, the temperature will cause the chemicals that used to produce these plastics to infiltrate into the water we drink, and they become carcinogenic. So they must be kept under cool temperature. So for the waste management, let government establish waste recycling plants so that this thing can be picked and be recycled into other things. And then the culture of cleanliness. They say cleanliness is next to godliness. Let us imbibe that culture, even without government on our own. How are we ensuring that our environment is kept clean? We shouldn't just drink anything and drop on the road anyhow. One of my friends was telling me the other day we were going to Abuja. Somebody dropped something on the road. I said, look, we was in South Africa, and somebody drank water, dropped a cellophane bag on the road. The government agents started following him. They went away all to 10 kilometers where they track it. They caused him to come back to that place to pick it. So we should do that kind of thing in Nigeria here so that we can imbibe culture of cleanliness and the environmental friendliness so that it will help us. At the end of the day, thank you for the topic.
Thank you for your contributions on that one. All right. Okay, that's the solutions we want. If you call in the lamentations like Edamaukan, we talk too much, but let's bring solutions as a challenge to be addressed. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my brothers over there.
Thank you for joining us on Perspectives, please.
Thank you. My name is Okeke Alphonsus from Nyema.
Okay, Okeke Alphonsus, you may do well to move away from your radio set or turn down its volume so we hear you better.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Please, Professor have already said it all. There is, as I live here, Nyema here, I make arrangement to put bucket where we will put the tea inside. I think Professor have already said it. If they did not put bucket for us, they will still put the tea along the road. That's my test, my brother.
Okay.
Thank you.
Could that be all from you, sir?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Francis. Thank you. All right. We should make provision for where people would actually dump their waste. That is what Francis is canvassing for very strongly. Yes. But, okay, I am with you now, Igbabee. Away from plastics, like the issue Francis mentioned, Makurdi as a town, for instance, if you go around some of the major roads, you find people placing waste on road dividers to be eventually evacuated. Doesn't that constitute an eyesore to our urban centers?
Yeah, sure, it does. Now, that's why when somebody made mention of...
Maybe before you expand your thoughts on that, let's engage with a few more persons now that the network is a bit friendly and allowing us to speak, and many people are waiting on the line. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you for calling in.
Thank you so much. This Agatha also Paul at Achusa.
Okay, Agatha also, hi Achusa this morning.
We are very cool here.
All right. We are told that area is notorious for flooding. Part of the waste management issues.
We're used to the environment.
Okay, please go ahead.
And I know there was a day I saw these people measuring the road, and I know maybe very soon the governor will be doing something on the road that will have a free flow of water channels in this area.
Okay, back to the waste management challenge now.
Yes. You know, I really want to appreciate your guests in the studio. They have spoken well. And for us to help ourselves, in fact, it is on this program that I discover they are using all this pure water sachet and the bottle and the Viju milk bottle to recycle at Oracle plastic. Yeah. I'm just hearing it for the first time because a lot had been wasted in this area. You could move around, you see a good number of those sachet water and the plastic rubbers and all that. But I'm hearing it for the first time because if such thing is going on in this town, I believe the jungle might be all over so that people will kill into, and then at least you going around to gather those things to take down there, at least it will give you a little token for you to earn a living on that day. And secondly, the white men in America, they saw it quickly and then they kill into not using the polythene bag in the shops, but they go on this hard envelope where if you buy anything in the supermarket, they put into the paper. It's like an envelope, a very big one. They will just put all that you buy. They have the small and the bigger sizes, depend on what you buy in the shop, not using the polythene bag anymore. They go on the paper, and it's easier for the paper to dissolve on when it touch water to mix with the soil without any problem. But the polythene bag, for more than a year, it will be there without not dissolving, and it causes a lot to the soil and the climate change. You burning it is a problem, and the polythene bag mixing with the soil is a problem too. So, and again, there was this time, I believe is it Ben Sasa or the Oban, they move with their truck and they share polythene bags in houses, house to house. The big polythene bag, black, big one, they share it to house. You gather all your waste into that later, and if they are coming the next morning, they will be passing door to door, and you see every resident coming out with the waste dumping inside the vehicle. But that thing has stopped. That was a perfect way of gathering all this waste dump in the various homes. And I believe if government can bring that system back, it will help.
All right.
For the neatness of the town. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paul Agatsa, also. Thank you for calling in. All right. I'm so sorry, Igbabee. You were speaking to us about the challenge of waste management, especially the culture of placing waste on our road dividers on major roads in our towns.
Yeah, actually, anytime I see that, I get worried, because to me it's an eyesore, dumping waste on our road divider. And I think it's because government, let me be first to say, failed in its responsibility of providing those waste collection containers. Now, if you go to major cities, I've been in Kano, and at some strategic point or places, you see this bucket there, so that whenever you come with waste, you can easily drop into it. But we don't have that here in Makurdi, and I think that is why people are forced to dump this thing on the road divider. So that is where Ben Sesugh has to come in, because they are the one to enforce this.
Again, I will interrupt you very briefly before we come back. Good morning.
Good morning.
Please turn down the volume of your radio set or move away from it. Hello. Okay, once you are about to connect or you are calling, the rule is you move away from your radio set or turn down its volume before you connect with us. Okay, I'm so sorry. The enforcement.
Yes. So they are the ones to enforce this. Now, we normally observe sanitation by the end of, I think, the last Saturday of every month. But you see, not everybody actually carry out this sanitation exercise. Now, the Bensasa, instead of them to go around, I don't see that. And now, let me point out this. I went to Kano, and on the day of sanitation, I discovered no individual was found on the road. It was only the sanitation workers that you see them going around. And that is where the enforcement is proper. But here in Makurdi or Benue State, there is nothing like that. So the Bensasa really need to sit up. They really need to sit up and make sure that they enforce this policy. And then the government can make provision for this waste bin. Now, they can even partner with Oracle Plastics. We have the machinery. We can produce this waste bin. We can actually produce them. We have the machines are there. The manpower is there. Everything you need. The only thing here is the mode. So government can actually partner with us. They don't need to travel to Lagos, Kano to bring these things, but they can be produced right here in Makurdi. So I want to call on government to really support us. Because I believe we are doing a good job, at least to an extent. Aside providing direct jobs, we also provide indirect jobs for people, for those who bring this waste for us to buy. And like somebody said it, that
yes.
he's hearing for the first time.
Yes, Agata also
yes,
said so, and so too we believe others may be getting to.
Yes, and he made a valid point there. He said, at least if you gather these things, you could take it there and you can earn a living for that day. So if government will encourage us, I think we will even do more.
All right. Anyway, for Bensasa, as a matter of policy for iGate Radio, we will certainly get across to them. We understand they have a new general manager now. Our efforts to get through were unsuccessful, but we'll try to get across beyond the program and also hear the side of Bensasa, what they're doing with regards to enforcing proper waste management, especially in Makurdi, the state capital, to do away with that culture of dumping waste on our road dividers. Dr. Ande, we are gradually drawing to a point that we shall be concluding on the program. But a few more calls, several calls waiting persistently. Let's take a few before we come back.
That's fine.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, good morning. Please, you have to move away from your radio set. Okay, Emeka Nyogo, thank you for calling in.
I really thank the discussants there. They have said a lot of things.
Thank you, sir.
But one thing in life is that when you engage young men, like casual workers in some government offices, they pay them the sum of 7,000, 5,000. If you can turn it today to give them at least 20,000 and you engage them into work, I think it will be better for them to do the needful. Like the other time, Oracle Company also started buying all these leather sachet waters. Somewhere along the line, they stopped. I believe that.
Hello?
I believe that continuity is the best thing in this country today. If they can go ahead and encourage other people to continue doing this work, I think the people will clean up Makurdi and Benue State at large. So I am of the opinion that even these companies should do the needful, not to stop somewhere along the line. And the government also should employ more people to do this work.
Hello, Emeka Nyogo.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
Emeka Nyogo, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, before you you finally leave on your call,
yes.
The production manager, Oracle Plastics, is with us here in the studio, and he hasn't told us if the company has discontinued collecting those materials, polythene and the stuff he mentioned. He outlined some of them for recycling. He hasn't said so. So
we are still in the business.
What I'm trying to say,
all right. I'm so sorry, your line disconnected, but yes. Our clarification should be noted. The production manager has not told us so, right?
Yes.
All right. So
we are still in the business.
All right. So
today is Friday. Maybe he can even drive or take a walk to the place. You see women that bring this thing, they gather there now as I speak to you.
All right. Maybe I am thinking I should resign from this job and start doing that, because I will make a whole lot, because so much will be there for me to pick and bring every Friday.
Yes, every Friday.
I will be making cool money.
Sure.
It's all right. Let's take some messages before we come back.
Okay.
Government should make policies that are investor friendly to encourage investors to invest in the area of waste recycling. Businesses should be supervised and empowered with manpower and equipment to discharge their duties effectively. Awareness should be created on the dangers of indiscriminate waste.
Program. The discussants have also done justice to the program. However, we have said government, Bensisa. What about we, the people?
All right, talk about the people now. You
we
are part of the constituency.
We must start from the homes.
All right.
If you go around town, you see homes very, very dirty. Is it the government that will come and clean our homes for us? Many homes in Makurdi cannot boast of a refuse dump or collection point right in the homes, and they generate waste every day, every moment. So let's start from the inside. Have a dustbin where you generate your waste, and when the waste is to a certain level, you look for the point of dumping it. Yes, Bensisa has failed because we no longer see them moving around town collection of refuse. But what are we doing internally? I want to commend one woman. I don't know her. I don't know the name. I'm yet to get her name. But every time she's around high level with a group of boys, she paid them. He hired them, paid them. They pick refuse and then dump. It's not as if they even pick to go and sell. They pick refuse to anywhere they see a dustbin, they dump there. I've monitored her for some time, but I've never been privileged to talk to her, to get to know her. But I've seen her severally. So if we have people doing this at many points, we can keep the town clean, as much as we are also encouraging the government to do the needful. That's my take.
All right, Agabo Thomas, thank you very much for your position. We appreciate you. Thank you for calling in. All right, about the people, it should also be about the people. So, Dr. Ande,
yes.
Beyond recycling, other simple ways that individual households, what kind of immediate measures they can take to properly manage waste in their households. In the course of my researching for this program, I discovered things like composting, waste consulting with regards to waste collection equipment, rental, waste artisan products, and also a few others that were highlighted as measures that individual households can key in. Help us educate people on simple ways on how individual households can manage their waste beyond getting it on industrial scale for recycling.
Thank you very much. Just like you mentioned, it's not, you don't expect individual homes to establish recycling plants, because that would be too much for them. And you mentioned one important, simple method of disposing waste, and that's composting. It's quite cheap. It can be easily done, but the limitation is that for the non-degradable materials, it becomes very difficult to compost them. But for those that are degradable, there is no point dumping them where they shouldn't be dumped. You could do a simple composting. That is, I see it as a recycling method, because that could be used back on the farms, serves as amendment, and improves the soil texture and even fertility. Then there is another one that can be done. You have landfill.
All right.
Yeah. But landfills, they are quite involving, because you need to do proper engineering work, because as you get them dumped in the land, it creates another challenge if you don't take proper action. These waste are not just waste, as we say. They have components. Just like I said about e-waste.
Yes.
I enumerated a number of metals. And by the time this waste come in contact with the soil, water, sometimes, and so on. So when you are doing landfills, then you must ensure that you do proper engineering work. You do the linings. You have to use concrete sometimes to prevent the toxic substances from leaching into the other. So I think composting is quite a simple one. The other one is incineration, but incineration has to do with burning.
All right.
Has to be burning. So it is a whole lot of a big challenge, because you are trying to solve a problem and then you are creating another problem. So that is the challenge we have. So, but I think that is where we must mention government. Yes, that is where we must mention government. And some people do open disposal just because there are no containers. So government must also make available these containers so that people can get rid of their waste. And we should also know this. Where there is no penalty, it becomes difficult to get people, do the right thing. So there should be some implication for doing certain things that are not right, So we need to take that seriously. So I think with this, we may make a headway.
All right. One more call and we'll back. Then we'll conclude. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
You are last caller, and I will give you just 30 seconds. The line has been buzzing persistently.
All right. Akura.
Okay.
From local government.
Igbabee, go ahead with your submission.
My regards to guests in the studio.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
What I want to keep in here is that
I heard over the news that government of the day in the state here has inaugurated a committee to look after those that are trying to invest in the state here.
Those that
so
are doing
as
what?
the agri-radio
Look after
that are trying to invest
Okay.
in the state to encourage investment.
Okay.
So as agri-radio is doing this enlightenment, I think it will help a lot. So let those that are speaking with you in the studio there to keep abreast of what is going on. Having them on board, it will be a happy hand to go a long way, happy to help the state clean up and let them beam their state light, not in the towns alone. Those that are capable to recycle, the waste management that they are capable to recycle, let them go to the rural area so that for majority of them that are lying low there, they will collect them and make use of it.
All right.
In terms of
Thank you.
Employing more other hands so that they will get the job done. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much.
I stop calling you these people due to the.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you for calling in. Time is up. We have made your submission. Igbabee,
Yes.
your concluding words give us an understanding again of how people can take advantage of the plastic waste recycling you have available here. Briefly conclude.
Right, thank you. Like I mentioned earlier, I said we collect waste ranging from sachet water waste, broken chairs, video milk containers, yogurt containers, even waste sack. We collect all of this waste which we recycled and use as raw material for production of other product. So I want to encourage young men out there, especially those that don't have job. You can actually venture into this. Now, I want to believe that when you step out of your house, you must see a refuse dump around, and what you see lying there is a whole lot of fortune. You can make wealth out of that. So let us not be shy of getting our hands dirty by a way of picking this. In case you feel too big, there are so many boys around which you can actually contract to do that for you. And you gather them. You don't need to take it to Onitsha, Lagos, Kano. All you need is to come to Oracle Business Limited, which is located in Kilometer 5 Industrial Layout here in Makurdi. And like somebody mentioned earlier, you can at least earn a living from there. So thank you.
All right. Waste to Worth. The platform is right here for you to take advantage of. Dr. Ande, your parting words in 30 seconds, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I can only reiterate some of the things that I have earlier mentioned, because other participants on this program had also agreed with my position. It begins with you, begins with me. Then let's start from there. And at the end of the day, I want to believe that we will make good progress when it comes to waste management.
Okay, Dr. Sesugh Ande is an associate professor at the Joseph Sarwuan Tarkaa University. He is the head of the department chemistry at our university. He joined us here on Perspectives. We thank you very much for your valuable insights on the program.
It's my pleasure.
the production manager, Oracle Plastic Industry, Makurdi, Benjamin Igbabee. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Dear listener, we appreciate your listenership on this edition of Perspectives. Thank you for your individual contributions through phone calls and text messages. Join us again next week, Monday, for another edition of Perspectives. And remember, you have the opportunity to turn your waste to wealth with the platforms available around us here. Take advantage of it and make a good fortune. My name is Nathaniel Nongu. Have yourself a great weekend. Goodbye, and I will see you on Monday next week. Bye.